And I'm really passionate about helping women with invisible illnesses realize that you can still lead a pretty healthy and active lifestyle. It's just not going to be the one you had envisioned for yourself, but time marches on. Um, it's going to be really short today. I have a meeting in a little bit, but this is something I've been thinking about, yeah, actually for a while, but I haven't addressed it because, frankly, because it hits a little too close to home. A lot of you know, probably most of you know, that the chronic pain management is very difficult in this country, especially since we have the big opioid scare, which is a ridiculous self-made crisis between the pharmaceutical industry and the medical community. But now the government has gotten involved. Oh, sorry, I should have pulled my hair back. But once the government got involved, guess what happened? Law abiding citizens who are just trying to do the best they can to fight their way through their health issues. They've been either cut completely off or had their um, their pain medication severely reduced. I had one gentleman tell me a while back that they cut his pain medicine by three quarters. Well, if you gave him all of the other, if you gave him the full prescription because you thought he needed it, and he seemed to do well on that for several years, what the hell is the rational argument for pulling that back? Do you know what's happened to his quality of life? Well, the same thing that's happened to mine. Um, I used to be able to get 120 Valium in a year. I'm obviously not abusing it at that rate, nor am I selling it. How the hell would I make any money on 120 Valium in an entire year? And it worked. It worked really well for me for, I don't know, 3 years maybe. But now, no matter what, they won't give me any Valium. Well, I take very low dose tramadol. In fact, I cut the tramadol in half because I don't like pain meds. I just don't. I don't like the way they make me feel. I don't like the impact, but I also don't like to just suffer. And then their justification was, well, we can't give you the Valium because how it's going to interact with your tramadol. Well, gosh, that's funny because y'all weren't worried about it when you were stuffing Valium down my throat like they were Pez candy. They used to write me three Vicodin a day or more if needed. I can't even take that stuff anymore. It just good. But my point is they've created a lot of very desperate people. And I understand that desperation. Well, what do you think these pain patients are going to do? It's not like our problems have magically been solved because of the reduction to our health care. Desperate people do desperate things. A lot of chronic pain patients are turning to street drugs, and I'm going to be really honest with you. I probably shouldn't admit this, but I'm going to. Twice I bought Valium off the street, but it scared the crap out of me. I don't want fentanyl. I don't want to end up. You don't know what the hell you're getting when you're buying street drugs. You have no idea. I don't care how well you know the person you're getting them from. Do you know the person they got them from? It's just it's a game of Russian roulette, in my opinion. And I've seen so many horrible, tragic stories of chronic pain patients dying from fentanyl overdoses because they're just so desperate. And we don't have anywhere to really turn. Then a lot of us turn to booze. And you know what? Booze does give some temporary relief. It really does. But it is just temporary. Look, booze is great because it's easily available, right? You can go to any store practically and pick up some booze. But here's the thing, in the long run, it's going to be so much worse for you than not drinking. Um, of course, there's the addictive perspective. Alcohol is very addictive. We all know that. I have known, unfortunately, many people in my life who have struggled terribly with alcoholism. And I'd say it's probably 50-50 who's won and who's lost. There's serious drug interaction concerns with alcohol, which, side note, when they legalized medical marijuana here in Alaska, this was back when I was still taking all the Vicodin and crap. Um, But my clinic, who was stuffing me full of opioids, took out a big ad in the newspaper declaring that they were going to start testing chronic pain patients. If you were getting pain medication from them, they're going to test you for THC. And their excuse was they were concerned about drug interactions. And I was so angry. And I told my doctor, that's a bunch of bullshit. Excuse my language, but that's what I told her. I said, if y'all were worried about drug interactions, you'd be testing us for alcohol, but you don't. My very cynical perspective, they couldn't make money off of it. So they wanted to clamp down on it. Anyway, alcohol is going to defeat your purpose in the long run. It needs to be kept in serious moderation if you've got health concerns, because it's terribly, terribly inflammatory. And that inflammation is just going to cause more problems for you in the long run. Sorry, my phone is ringing, which I don't know if you can hear, but it's not showing me who's calling. So that's kind of weird. I wouldn't answer anyway, obviously in the middle of a video, but that's very distracting. But I'm dealing with that right now. I'm dealing with the implications of, I wanted a little relief. I didn't overconsume by any stretch, but I wanted a little relief. And guess what? It did flare me up today. I was already flared before I started, so now it's worse. So I am quite late jumping onto the Sober October bandwagon. But here we go. I, in fact, will probably extend it 11 days into November just so I hit that mark. And I have a feeling that once I get there, I'm not going to be that interested anymore. And, it's okay. I want to be clear. It's okay to enjoy alcohol in moderation. But when you start turning to it for relief from your pain, it gets harder and harder to keep it in moderation, especially since it just becomes this cycle of, I hurt, I need to relax, I want to drink. Well, the drink is inflammatory. It disrupts your sleep cycle, which if you have chronic pain, you don't need anything screwing with your sleep cycle. It's bad enough. But so you take the drink to try to alleviate your symptoms, but the drink comes full circle and causes you more symptoms. And it's just a downward spiral. And I need to stop it. I really struggle with my nutrition, and I have a feeling it's going to get a little bit harder while I'm doing this Sober October. But this is a huge part of my nutritional struggle. It's empty calories. It's empty calories that I know are going to cause a serious inflammatory response in my body. And honestly, for me, it's the flavor. I like the taste. I like that fermented taste. But fortunately, they have kombucha available, and I freaking love kombucha. Okay, I like 2 or 3 flavors, but the ones I like, I really, really like. And for me, they hit that fermentation taste that I like. It gives me that flavor I'm looking for. No, I don't get that very temporary sense of relaxation from the kombucha, but truly that relaxation, it's false. It's an illusion. You're going to cause more problems in the long run. Anyway, I do have a really important meeting in about 20 minutes, and I need to mentally prepare myself. So I'm going to go. But yes, I have joined the very late. I'm always late, but I am joining the Sober October. I was going to say revolution, but that's not the right word. I don't know how to finish that. So anyway, y'all have a great